Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble and on Patreon for extra support, any kind of updates and the such. Usually about on Twitter X. Feeling a little bit better. And let's see regarding recording Midnight Suns episodes because I got sick throughout this basically a week or so. I didn't manage to record anything because my voice was impossible to get on that recording. I will do until I manage to get more episodes in the backlog to be published, around 3 episodes per week. Probably this week and next week. So tomorrow I will try to publish a Midnight Suns episode. But I will try to compensate here with kind of a little bit of analysis and commentary probably later this day today regarding the Game Award stuff there, the how they went about it, the nominees and all that stuff. I'll try to make a video with my commentary and opinion regarding that. Just a quick reminder that I still have the Monster Hunter Wilds beta videos that I managed to do, around 5. Again, the focus of those videos were for me because I am new to Monster Hunter IP, at least playing the games, trying to see how the combat works for me, and I was pretty satisfied there. For the beta, I think my main concern is optimization. I was basically obliged to use upscaling to get a decent frame rate. But yeah, other than that, I think that's it. So let's go to the news, trying to keep it short as possible because I'm still getting out of breath very quickly. So let's go for that. Um, Interesting enough, Sony is rumored to be in talks to buy outright From Software owner, so Kadokawa Corporation. Interesting things here. Sony, as an entity, doesn't have only interested in games. They also have interest in other kind of medias, for example, movies, series, animation, all that jazz. And yeah, Kadokawa is kind of an old company, and they really do. They have a transmedia in the sense that they only not own just From Software, even though From Software is they're a big company in terms of their portfolio regarding games. But I think they also have mobile gaming, and then they have also manga, films, anime, and other stuff. What interests here in this potential acquisition or I don't know, IPO? I don't know how the technicalities of trying to uh, basically buy out Kadokawa for Sony is, I think, more about the books, manga, films, anime, the transmedia associated with it, and in terms of gaming, the fact of From Software again. I think Elden Ring, to a certain degree, as an IP for From Software, really blow up in terms of notability, notoriety, and desirability of that IP and others IP that From Software does. And again, the prospect of future games and the projects that are going, especially from Elden Ring and other IPs. I think Armored Core. I think there is some projects going on, mostly in animation. But yeah, I'm not sure how that will go. But for PlayStation, they already had a relationship with From Software, especially Demon Souls and Bloodborne. There are two major games that are exclusive at this moment in PlayStation, so we got that. But yeah, Sony has already entered, already financed something for with Kadokawa, and in the latest one being in August 2022, they invested directly in From Software. acquiring around 40% of the shares. And at the time, Tencent also entered with 16% of the shares at the same time. And this, I think, is just specifically to From Software, which is interesting because, again, PlayStation, so the part of the gaming side of Sony, already invested that. Again, I think it had to do with the previous relationship with Bloodborne and Demon Souls, which are basically Sony's IPs. I think that's the main gist of it. Yeah, and here on the article, it goes about because supposedly J.R.R. Martin teased there is going to be a feature film or a TV series adaptation. I will assume from Elden Ring or something like that. Again, I think in overall scheme of things, I think Sony should be stay put and try to focus in house and try to put their in house in order. Is trying to do even more investments to trying to compensate the lack of the internal IPs or their own IPs failing miserably. Taking into account the latest, the biggest one, Concord. Yeah, I think they should focus more on that instead of trying to buy out, in this case, Kadokawa, given that they have some IPs that might be in their own interest. But yeah, hopefully this will not go forward. Hopefully it's just a rumor. Even though just being a rumor, it sent Kadokawa stock up around 23%, which is interesting there. I think they at this moment in time might be testing waters to see how it might fare any kind of a deal here. But yeah, I don't like this idea. Buying out companies, it's a little bit like putting on the same shoes that Microsoft from Xbox part, just buying outright Activision Blizzard $70 billion deal there, that it's failing miserably, of the layoffs, studio closures. They are not able to output in good enough games to maintain the studios open, let's say that way, in some cases, and in others just completely shut down good studios that are doing good video games. Again, this corporate mentality, which basically focus on just on the money side of things. They don't take usually creativity on the forefront, because in any creative endeavor, you need to put creativity in the first place, and that result of that creative project will inherently, if it is a good one, or at least something that calls to the attention of the consumers for that creative product, will bring the money in. It's not, you cannot be, and we have this as in TV shows, in movies. You cannot just put a checklist of a formula to every creative project, because then if you just follow a very defined checklist, it stop being a creative project and start being just something by the numbers, as we call it, and that will not sell in the long run. But yeah, hopefully this is just a rumor and trying to test the waters, and it will not go forward. That's my wish there. In other news regarding Xbox, Phil Spencer says it will rather revisit own IPs than rely on more licensed games. Again, this guy usually, in the overall, when he talks about platitudes like this, revisiting own IPs and rely on more licensed games, he does a good talk. But at the end, he is a CEO, so he is more worried about the money and the bonuses that he will receive at the end of the year. And we have to take that in account, even though he does all the gives all the signals of he is very gamer centric and using his T-shirts on every presentation of renowned IPs and the such. But yeah, he gave an interview. And again, we got here the CEO talking here. I'm not the biggest fan of making licensed games. It creates some complexities for us when we think about, again, putting in a subscription or streaming it. Again, here we have the the main gist of it. It's putting products on a subscription-based service, which is not going well for Xbox Pass. Again, I understand that is as a consumer, it seems a very good product, but I think in the overall term of things, it will turn kind of a Netflix kind of a deal here, which is the quality of the product will be diluted with stuff that needs to be put on the service to provide what we can call huge offerings in that subscription service, and the prices will always going to they're going to be marked up even more, and eventually on the game Xbox Game Pass you will start seeing tiers that you will have to endure ads to play games, or before playing the game or starting the session, middle of the session they will start putting ads so you can have a low subscription fee, and then only on the high tier ones that you can have access of not being interdicted with subscription ads and have access to first exclusive party games or whatever they are calling that. But yeah, that's the main business at this moment for Xbox, is the service of the subscription based, which is failing miserably in the sense that it's not having any kind of growth. Uh, People will try to subscribe to the service if they have one or two games in mind to play with, and then after they finish up, they will leave the or cancel the subscription. Um, they will try to do something to pull more active users on that Xbox Pass with this Call of Duty Black Ops 6 or whatever it's launched now. They will try to do that. It will ramp up the active users for sure, because what usually can be considered a $70 game, people can play for $12 a month. I think I'm not sure. I think now it's 15 or something like that. But again, people will play it probably a couple of months here and there. It will be probably it will look good as a year-on-year growth of the service, but for the that fiscal year. But then it will drop down because people will not have games that they want to play. Again, they I think they are also counting on people just buy into the subscription, then they are not interested, and then they forget to cancel the subscription service. I think there is some hopes there from Xbox, but yeah. But the fact that in terms of first party and own IPs they have now, with especially with the acquisition of Activision Blizzard and all the companies dependent on that conglomerate, they have a lot of IPs that they can work on, especially in transmedia if they want to. Yeah, hopefully they can dig a little bit deep there and revive some long IPs that didn't have any kind of games or anything coming up recently. They might, I don't know, uh, give it to a smaller studio, tweak it out, see how it goes, if it has good sales or not. I don't know. I think they have to have a budget for experimentation in some of the IPs they already own, and instead of just being risk adverse and just trying to do formulaic games, uh, which is what they've been doing lately. And a lot of them are also failing. For example, you got from Redfall game, we got the Starfield, which it's not good. It's not in a good state. People are already fearing for Elder Scrolls 6. I think it's the next one. And then we got the licensed games, especially from the Activision buyout, which is Indiana Jones and the Great Circles and Marvel's Blade from Arcane Leon. Again, I don't know. These are the two main staples of licensed games. They both belong to Disney. Given that Indiana Jones is Lucasfilms and Marvel's Blade is from Marvels, of course. But yeah, I don't know. The Indiana Jones and the Great Circle as a setup interested me, but from the footage that I saw, I'm very fearful of for this game and Marvel's Blade. I don't even we don't. I think we only had a teaser, if that much. But yeah, yeah. Just focus on your own IPs. trying to improve and launch and take some chances there, creative chances, and hopefully they can come up with something good, basically. There was also another rumor that probably a Dark Souls remaster is currently under in the works. Um, I don't know why. The game itself, I seem still pretty good as a game there. It makes sense taking into account they already remastered the first two games, the first two Dark Souls. But I think if they want to take, I think it would be better instead of a remaster, especially for the older games, even though the PC ports are not that bad. But I think, especially the first two, could have taken a remake approach. Uh, my opinion is avoid like Unreal Engine 5, even though Unreal Engine 5 showcases that people are doing with Dark Souls, the ones that were shown off, they look pretty, very pretty. But I think the issue inside from software is their game engine in the sense that it seems reaching its capabilities. At least we got the latest Elden Ring. It still have some issues, even with the big rigs to have a stable 4K 60. I think there are some technical limitations on the engineering part of Elden Ring, even though, again, the game itself is, I do think it's their main crux is the game engine, even though it's pretty good. I don't have any big complaints, but if they could improve it, I think it might could lead the way of them. I don't know, like a new version or creating a new engine that can be a little bit more graphic fidelity in terms of graphic fidelity, being a little bit better and a little bit more optimized. Probably doing a remake of the Dark Souls trilogy in that new engine, and then down the line, I don't know, in 5 to 10 years, having like a remastered or a remake of Elden Ring, something like that. I don't know if you're going about that. Even though I'm not a very advocate for remasters for the sake of it. But yeah, I can understand the fact that they want to at least have their own Dark Souls remastered, as at least on the title there, for sale, and trying to, I don't know, boost a little bit the sales there. But yeah, Dark Souls as a trilogy, even for PC, I think it's a pretty good one. Again, the first and the second one might be a little bit janky in terms of graphic fidelity, as we are used to, especially on the Elden Ring. I think if they were visually updated to the levels of Elden Ring, I think it will be an improvement, especially the first two. I think the third one still serves is still okayish from the last playthrough that I did solo. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what it comes out of it, of this, if it's going to be or not a remaster in the works. But yeah, it's not going to change basically anything regarding the Dark Souls IP there. And then lastly, here for gaming news, you got Pacific Drive, got the new update, Trips and Treasures. Again, I think the next time that game will be on sale, I will probably buy it with everything associated with it. So the deluxe edition, something like that. I don't know, because this kind of games, it's kind of my jam, like roguelike kind of survivor simulator kind of a thing here. The story, the hookup of the story is interested me a lot, and the game seems very intricate in their mechanics, and it's a little bit challenging, which is always good. It's one of those that I'm really, really interested since the first time that I heard about this. And it's a small team, and they are even the feedback is pretty good, and I think they are doing a pretty good job there. And they are putting the customization spec as a selling point, because in terms of gameplay mechanic, they are not charging the extra content. At least that's my perception there from what I've been covering there. But yeah, I will see about that. But yeah, I have a lot of games to play and catch up. But this one is one of those that I'm always thinking about on trying to take a chance here. And then lastly, it's kind of have to do with with gaming, but it's more focused on a little bit more on the politics side of things. We got the ADL report here. A lot of people are covering this. Again, in the overview of things, ADL was a long time ago a foundation of reference. They were, I think, the high mark there was at the time way, I don't know, 50. I don't know exactly in which decade, but it was in the decade that at the time there was the Nazi rallies in the United States, famously on the Madison Square Garden, and there was I think some court procedures to have banning speech and everything, and at the time ADL, even though they didn't like the speech of at the time of those rallies and the such and protests. They fought for them to have the free speech of doing their own rallies. And even though again they were the Anti-Defamation League, and at the time they really fought for even with the views that you don't agree to for people to have the freedom to express them, which is all about with when you talk about freedom of speech. It's not to defend the speech that you like, is to defend the speech that you don't like, which usually it's the most hardest things to do. But everything goes. This can go the same way or both ways, which is the people don't might not like your speech, but if they are fighting for you to have that platform for you to have your own speech, it makes sense in a free speech society as the United States is. Censor doesn't help any kind of bad speech. And of course, when you talk about free speech, we are not talking about what you can consider illegal speech. Again, there are certain limits even for free speech, which is in the case it's illegal to in a crowded space or on a cinema, for example, to fire, to scream fire, and basically inciting direct violence. Of course, is not part of free speech. Again, there are some clauses, some limitations by itself because it puts somebody in danger or in direct danger of being hurt, and usually, again, it's reasonable sense that it is a limitation on that free speech. But again, any kind of usually political expressions, cultural expressions, different opinions from what we usually can consider mainstream, I think they should be allowed, because bad ideas can only be defeated by good ideas, or bad speech can only be defeated by better speech. That's my ultimate opinion there. Even though I might not like, and I can, and I even to this day I hear a lot of stuff that I don't agree, and I might detest, but in the end, I try to let it known that even though I don't agree and I think it's abhorrent or whatever it is, I should and I do let people have that platform to express that. And might people might come to the opinion that okay, but how about hate speech? And again, we come around and saying hate speech ultimately is a subjective matter, because what can offend me might doesn't offend other people. So it's a subjective, and we turn again and go about the free speech thing. The fact that I hearing things that I hate doesn't mean that I need to shut them down. It's trying to put out a speech that defeats the hate of the other side of the argument. That's my overall opinion regarding this, very briefly here. And I don't think what they call moderation is going to resolve any kind of issue. And we got this guy, U.S. Senator Mark Warner, which I think he's already got some issues there regarding some political donations. Again, I'm not sure about what it is, but I think I saw a headline somewhere I think there is some financial conflicts regarding this senator. He took this ADL reporting of hate speech in Steam platform. A lot of people already, again, covered this. It's a little bit anecdotal for a change. It's not the first time that trying to paint as gaming as a platform of hate and violence. It's not the first time. It's not going to be the last time, unfortunately. And these guys just want to take a hit, another hit, it seems. I don't know if it has to do anything with this election of the United States, but I will have to assume so. It has some influence on that. But this senator is threatening federal action against Steam and its parent company Valve. So Steam being the platform where supposedly all the hate and and radical violence exists. It does if it does not take action against alleged anti-Semitism supposedly proliferating on the website. Again, this is all about alleged. Again, especially on these older people, they really don't understand and I don't think they have any kind of context of what happens on Steam. Again, this doesn't. This doesn't retract any kind of hateful people that exist anywhere in society, being on Steam, being on Facebook, being on Twitter, being on Instagram, any kind of social platforming. You will have a very small minority that are hateful people. They are bigots, whatever you want to call them. All these adjectives that usually people throw out, they really do exist in society, but they are in some minuscule part of society that painting that all the user bases of that platform or whatever you want to do this kind of studies, painting with a very broad strokes. Everybody that's using there has something as that trying to represent that majority from that very small minority. Usually it doesn't go well because it just creates the not desired effect that they want to. But yeah, he said he urged to the leadership at Valve that gaming distribution and social networking platform Steam is hosting extremist and hateful content. Again, it's one of those things. When you start looking for it, you will find it everywhere. Again, it's one of those. For me, using Steam 20 years, I think, or so, I encountered a lot of stupid stuff, but not anything declared as like Nazi swastikas or any kind of those kind of things. I never encountered by myself. Again, I'm also not looking for it, and I think the majority of users on Steam are not looking for that. I will assume a lot of it is trolling, stupid people doing stupid things, thinking they are funny, and of course there is going to be somebody or some people that are really really hateful. But again, you cannot do collective punishment every time you think you see something that you don't like. Again, it comes about in different ways, this quote. But yeah, and it called for broad action from Valve to bring its content moderation standards in line with industry standards, which is kind of funny enough, the industry standards, and crack down on the rampant proliferation of hate-based speech. Again, it's not rampant. If it was rampant, you will see it, I don't know, all over the platform. This is something that it's even on the study of ADL, the sample representation, even taking into account the 1 or almost 2 million impressions that most of them were taken by an AI algorithm, which by itself is very dubious because you can train an algorithm to search or find search for whatever you want. But even taking account 2 million, roundabout to 2 million impressions of hateful symbolism from being half of that hate symbolism was Pepe the Frog memes, which by itself it is what it is, which is a meme. Um, and taking into account those 2 million impressions with symbolism from memes to copy pasta stuff, on 132 million users, monthly active users on Steam, which is the average. It's less than 1% of instances, which, as Stuttering Craig said on one tweet, it's a better percentage that you see when you go out on the street there. So again, it's and for sure it's a better percentage than on Facebook, which is heavily moderated, and for sure even better than Twitter X, even though Twitter X usually doesn't, or doesn't at least that much in terms of censoring anything or moderating that much in that kind of guidelines, the industry standards. But yeah, even on Facebook, which is heavily regulated and heavily moderated, in other platforms as much, you can encounter a bigger percentage if you want to, if you take the same kind of rule sets comparatively with monthly active users on the platform there. But yeah, the Anti-Defamation League is not the first time it's trying to do something similar like this. They creating suspect reports in order to convince companies and politicians to take action according to its desires. Again, ADL by itself is heavily funded by APEC itself, which has a lot of very focused interest on what they try to achieve. And this lady, Rachel Cowart, at the time, who founded the research department, Take This, which I already heard about this, but in 2019 nationally representative survey from ADL, it found that nearly 1 in 4 respondents were exposed to extremist white supremacy ideology in online games. Again, this is one of those things they tried a few years ago. And afterwards, this lady in the game UX 2022 presentation, sponsored by, at the time, by Bungie, she admitted that the polling was a crack of crap. So it was all basically bullshit. And she added that honestly, somebody asked me early how I got into this work, because it seems like a very niche idea, but it's was that report of 25% of respondents. Again, so respondents, given that it's self-reporting. Again, you got that thing with hate speech and everything. Everybody can take it, everything as hate speech, but whatever. Um, yeah, the guy that did this, Daniel Kelly, this study here, who led this research, said, no, that's the number. That was very bad, very bad. And then afterwards, after this 2019 study, they did another one, or updated that study in 2021. They look at the same thing and they found that the number was closer than 1 in 10. So again, from 25% to not even 10%, to 1 in 4, 25, 1 in 10, 10%. Yeah, it was not the same thing. So yeah, again, it's always unclear whether this is actually changing the landscape or just difference in sampling, as it is with research. Sometimes she basically admitted. So again, depends, as any kind of studies. Depends on the methodology there. I really check the methodology they try to use on this ADL study. Again, the study itself was basically with the AI algorithm trying to catch anything that they deemed as anti-Semitic in this case. Again, so it has a very specific connotation here, that what they're trying to look there, even though a lot of stuff was not specifically anti-Semitic. They use the fact that what they say, like white supremacy, they interlink it as anti-Semitic by itself, which is usually white supremacy is not just anti-Semitic, is basically white supremacy. So everything that is not white is to be eliminated from the earth. But yeah, they took advantage and make that correlation there to boost the number of the fact that it's anti-Semitic. But yeah, that's the ADL. Again, they are trying to mark it up here as something that now Steam is the incubator of anti-Semitic things happening there. But again, I think it's as in any kind of online platforming, you will always have a percentage of users having this kind of behavior. I think most of it is trying to troll or trying to be funny in some way. Usually, it's younger people, like young kids, trying to impress their friends by doing stupid stuff, thinking it's funny. Everybody that was a pre-teenage or even a teenager always did stupid shit, including me, because they thought they were being very funny for their friends or their circle of friends and trying to impress somebody. And usually that doesn't go well. And especially on this internet age, everything that goes on the internet is forever. So yeah, that's that. But yeah, as I said in the beginning of this, covering this again, there are always going to be hateful people. It's going to be a very, very, very small number of people. And like with everything, with the internet, you can boost the signal of your ideas and stupidity, because that's not kind of the price to pay for having a free internet. It comes with also by the fact in every community, for sure, one of your neighbors is going to be an asshole. It's going to be a completely horrendous person, but it's just one person out of hundreds, if not thousands, in your neighborhood where you live. So it's the same thing on the internet, but internet is on a global scale. It's 8 billion people. Probably 3 billion people use the internet on a daily basis. And I don't know, given that the gaming community, uh, at least 500 million people or around about that might have a Steam account, and probably some of them have like more than one account on Steam, just one for burner to do stupid shit, and the others to have their own game catalog. Again, there's endless possibilities here to try and justify the anti-Semitic things there. But what can you do? Is just denounce this kind of uh, I don't know, trying to denounce this kind of behavior here, even from ADL, which at one point in time was really fighting for free speech, even with the Nazi in the United States, that they wanted to do their Nazi rallies there. But yeah, this is it regarding gaming news and all that jazz. I'm just going for some gaming deals. I'm sorry if this going for a long time, but yeah, I had some thoughts there. We got an Epic Game Store. We got Castlevania Anniversary Collection here. On Steam, we got still Midnight Suns, 85% off on the base game. Again, stamp of approval so far for me. We got also Spiritfarer Farewell Edition. We got a demo if you're not sure if it's for you, and at this moment is 85% off. Then we got Monster Hunter. If you're really itching to play some Monster Hunter, I think this is a good game, at least in terms of feedback. The base game is 67% off. Then you got all the editions here with different prices and content there. And then you got Outer Worlds is also on the deal here. I'm sorry, my voice is going out. Yeah, the base game is 50% off, and then we got the non-mandatory corporate sponsor bundle, which is, I think, the better version. Again, as I mentioned before, the Outer Worlds Space's Choice Edition has the improved graphics, but it takes a hit on the performance of the game there. Then on GOG, we got again Deus Ex, we got Human Revolution Director's Cut, 85% off. Then the sequel, Mankind Divided, 85% off. Then we got Prey Digital Deluxe Edition. Again, I do recommend at least the standard edition. It's very cheap, $3. Again, this game is pretty good, very underrated game. I did a gameplay series on this one, so if not sure if this game is for you, you can check out the first episode to see if it's something for you. Again, immersive scene, very, 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 very good. I really enjoyed the what I played from this game. Then you got Wasteland 2. This is Director's Cut, Digital Deluxe Edition, 75% off. Then you got the Colorado Edition from Wasteland 3. It's 80% off, which has the playable stuff there. The oh my god, how do you call it? season pass. That's the word that I was wanting to use. And then you got finally Wolfenstein, the 2-pack. It's got the Old Blood and the New Order as a combo here, 75% off. And then you got the sequel, which is Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus. This is the Super Duper edition, which got also the season pass there. But yeah, this is what I got for you today regarding news and the such. Sorry about the long rambling. But yeah, I will wrap up here with a plug on the Patreon for access support so I can have a better storage solution so I can have backups of stuff that I do for my clients. And of course, some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.